Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys.
Your membership to gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race every Wednesday and Friday.
A lot of names, a lot of familiar faces, and another chance for $50 to sign up for PSR Gold. It's going to be a lot of fun. Why wouldn't you want to be on this list, huh? Frank, that's a great question. Does AI determine the winner? No, Frank. The fastest horse does. So shout out to everyone that's a member. We appreciate you guys. We let our horses run forever. 2.5 hours. Hey, we're racing. Instead, Odeo, here we go.
And they are off.
You know I'm not winning this. My horse ain't like this.
And here comes Big Show, who says 2 minutes is too long. Big Show wants this race to end right now. Going to be moving into the stretch soon. K-Wolf up front. Saturated making a move. And there's nasty motherfucking Nate. Director 97. And he should have been 40. He should have been 40. Director 97. $100. Team wanting all the money.
Oh my God,
Director. And it's Director 97. Back.
Oh my God!
Fresh, take it home! We're 6-5-4! Oh God! Saturated. Friedrich gonna come home with it. Is it Billy Friedrich's time? Is it his time? No, it's not. Cody Norton, maybe this Billy the fight with as well. Billy the fight. How dare you throw Manny's down? Does Coin have enough space to get home? Or will Daby take care of business? Here comes the show. A third win for Director 97.
But Connor Mack takes out. He might be blowing his load a little bit too early. Is anybody? The contestant, here comes Iron Eagle out of nowhere. Iron Eagle.
It's a packed race. 5 seconds. Bristol from the back. Bristol. The Napoli won in action.
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm the cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who can produce, play the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon, cause we be, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Great to see all of you guys. The NFL is back. Thursday, August 1st. The Hall of Fame game. I've moved on it. We have NFL, we have CFL, we have Major League Baseball. It was a winning day yesterday, but my last two bets are lost. I was sitting there Thought I was going to be 5-1 going into the late spots, but Pittsburgh, Houston under 8.5 lost. And, I was beating myself up for betting it, but there were 6 errors. Woodford did everything that I asked of him. O'Neal Cruz was horrific. So I lose by half a run with 6 errors. Extremely frustrating. The Athletics look was wrong. And the Phillies' first 5 to get the day started was wrong. But Atlanta, Milwaukee, first 5 over 3.5, full game over 7. Jose and TJ on the Padres. I wanted that first 5 over 3.5 and full game over 7. And the market scared me off. And those were 2 wins that I wish I had. I cashed the first 5 over 3.5, full game over 7, Atlanta, Milwaukee. Cashed the Rockies' first 3, did not cash the Rockies' first 5. Cashed that Cubs, Cincinnati Reds first 5 over 5 very easily. A 4-3 plus 0.74 units. We did cash on that Serbia, the Puerto Rico first quarter team total under. So, whatever. We're back in a winning day is good. And I don't want to beat myself up, but it certainly feels like I left money on the table. We capped the card beautifully. I love this situation we have today. I think we have one more, I guess we have 2 more Thursdays before things get heavy. So we are running out of situations like this where we can deep dive into just 7 games. We have 7 games on the schedule here today. And I'm looking forward to attack them all. I've not moved on Lions Bombers, but I plan on doing it. And I have a plan for the other games. Again, like I told you guys, the spot that I wanted to attack the most was the Stampeders. I got that money line at minus 125. It's now minus 200. It's now minus 4. It's just the perfect storm, that Stampeder spot, which I've been telling you guys all week about. So there we go. Great to see all of you guys in the chat. We got Justin McKelvey, the Stacks play of the day. Soler over 1.5 bases. Stacks coming off a winner yesterday. Love to see it. Jorge Soler. Let's get this set up for our breakdowns here. Ron Walsek, Bucks' best pass rusher, just carted off at practice. A lot of the reason why you don't want to get NFL futures in too early is because of these types of injuries. Thank you for letting us know, Ron. A Viper NB Atlanta minus 1.5 for him. He's fading Max Meyer. Very interesting, Max Meyer. 3rd overall pick in the draft a couple years ago. He's a very, very talented pitcher. And he looked great through those first 3 starts in April. It was a surprise that he was let go, or not let go, but sent down to the minors for seasoning. He didn't look quite as sharp in his last start. It's a different situation. Usually we see these young stars not look so good, go down the minors and come back and look better. What if you start out your career looking so good? Now he's the 3rd overall pick out of high school. We know he's a very, very highly talented pitcher. I can understand why you're on that spot, Viper. Goran Ninkovsky. Goran, thank you so much for your donation to our friend Tori Coker's GoFundMe. It means a lot to us. A lot of you guys have, and it means a ton. Loshak got to start with $100 dono. It's just it's a great group. But Goran, it means a lot that you've supported. Jose will pop that up for us. We've been talking about it all week, dealing with enormous tragedy in his family and trying to pay for 2 funerals. And it's not easy. And he just put his head down. I asked him to put the GoFundMe together. He was just going to quietly work 15-hour days, and I asked him to do that so we could be a part of it and help him. So thank you, Goran. It means a ton here. So it is great to see all you guys. I love this opportunity to deep dive into a smaller amount of bets. Let's talk also about what went down yesterday. Wine Time Sports continuing to deliver in MLB. Excellent work. Dapper Capper cashing as well. Joseph Thompson, Justin McKelvey, Jose Bouquett here. Love to see it. Love to see it. And then there's my action here. What is missing from my action? Sorry, let me just. It's fine because it's very difficult for everyone to put in all the action. Atlanta, Milwaukee. Yes, my Atlanta, Milwaukee stuff. My overs in that one. But that's all good. DC Capper cashing with the Braves money line. Justin McKelvey, of course, cashing with Mountcastle. Another winner for Joseph Thompson. That over 9 in Blue Jays, Orioles. Excellent work from our guys. I love to see it. So Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is in. Man, does this one work with the market? Ooh, I'm sure Ron knows it, but and then you have to ask yourself with this bet, is Seth Lugo dealing with arm fatigue? He did have the All-Star break, which wasn't really a break for him. He pitched in an All-Star game, but some time off, and 2 of his last 4 starts, he's been lit up and smoked. Is he dealing with arm fatigue? Because you have to back Kaiser Montero in the 6.3 ERA, but the books are telling us that is a sharp action spot. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day dog on the Detroit Tigers. Serious business, ready to get to work. Joey Marinaccio, the dapper capper. Sanchez over outs was sweaty, but it got there, which is all that is important. Gerald Jones in the house. Crystal Craig. We'll get you back in business. We have the Skunt Blaster 501 day yesterday. I'd love to see it. And my dude in the house. Great to see you. NJ Striker ready to get to work. Beer Nuts. We have Beer Nuts, a new name in the chat. Beer Nuts ready to eat. Great to see all you guys. Stephen Hairston ready to deliver. Gordon Acosta says, shout out to Freeland and the Rockies. I don't know if it's Freeland as much as the Angels' inability to hit lefties right now. So Ken Mizrahi in the house. I love to see it. Justin McKelvey got in on the Stampeders, minus 148, now minus 200. It's just, again, the perfect storm. We'll look for those in all sports, but especially in NFL and CFL football. It's all the same in basketball too, but NFL, in this game, we have one spot where everything went wrong for the Stamps and they were in a terrible rest situation. And then you have the Argos where everything went right for them and they barely squeaked out an overtime victory that they didn't deserve. Mally Mal making moves here. Texans under, Braves over. Texans and the under, Braves over. We are going to start with CFL. Because some people join, it's only 8:10 in the morning out west. So we're going to open with CFL. Then we're going to break down the NFL game. I've moved on the NFL game as well. Let's get Mally Mal's action in here. The great Mally Mal in the house. Let's get this here. We'll get it right below NFL. Here we go. Markel ready to get to work here. Great to see all you guys. There's Joseph Thompson, who's just cashing. No place for him today, but oh wow. Getting ready for Sturdy to spread my dad's ashes out there with the family. Might not be in the chat much the next couple of days. Well, thinking about you, Joseph Thompson. Thinking about you, and it's very difficult what you are going through. But you are celebrating him, and I'm sure you will tell nonstop stories of your dad throughout. So. Thinking of you guys, sending you love, and love having your action as well. You're such a great capper. And did you hit double digits with these plays of the day winning streak? I know you were running extremely, extremely hot, Joseph Thompson. So thinking about you, man. Thinking about you. It's never easy. Wine Time Sports Panger Life hit a 7-piece. I love to hear that. Rodney Barton. And Wine Time is on the under 31.5, which is the look. If everyone is on this under, whether it be the first half under or the full game under, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all, and we'll go through it as well. DC Capper in the house off a big day. We got Birdie ready to go. Morgan Spooner play day 2 spot. Angels moneyline minus 120 and Cardinals moneyline minus 105. I was a little surprised to see that market move towards the Cardinals. Sonny Gray's not look good. And the Cards aren't hitting lefties. I wanted to back Shota, but I haven't been able to at this point. My dude play days Ian Happ over 1.5 hits. And Yankees undefeated with Chisholm in the lineup. Jazz looking very good in that Yankees uniform. There's Dutch Boy Fresh, the Virginia breakdown is up right now. Of course, the Fresh 24 Dutch dropping all the ACC teams and doing a great job doing it. There is Lee Davis in the house, but please support our NCAA football coverage on our YouTube homepage. All right, it is time to get to work. Without further ado, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Let's have ourselves a winning day. 7 games, just 7 games on today's card. We're able to break them all down. We start in Canada, Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 87 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour. A Beer Nut says 30.5 is way too low. Too much money on the under. I'm with you on that, Beer Nuts. But I'm not going to bet the over. But I look forward to breaking that game down. We're going to do that here in a second. First, we're in CFL, 87 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour. So we have a terrible situation, a terrible rest situation. Now, we took full advantage of this in that Red Blacks Stampeders game last week. Stampeders were on 5 days rest after a big victory. And the Red Blacks had been at home the week prior, so they had a rest advantage. They didn't have to travel. This is a terrible rest situation for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Everything going wrong for this Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and this line moving very briskly in the BC Lions' favor. We have right now at Penny, they are. My bookie has this at a 6. There's 5.5s across the board. And Pinnacle has a juiced 4.5. It's actually a cent move to the Bombers at plus 104, 4.5. I want to see where this line ends up. I mean, could this actually end up as a 6 across the board? Because it does make me extremely interested in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I know I've lost a lot of money back in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but I've made it almost all back with unders in their football games. So the under is being bet now. God damn it. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow. This was a 51 this morning. I was sitting back saying, how high is this going to go? That is extremely frustrating. I mean, waiting to bet this under here. It went from 49.5 to 50 to 50.5 to 51. This all bet online. And then 17 minutes ago moves to 50. 6 minutes ago moves to 49. That is extremely frustrating. It's a 49.5 here at 365. I've got to bet this right now. This is just extremely frustrating. All right, let's get into this here right now. Jose, are you here? Jose, are you? I know you're backstage. Can you jump on? I've got to get this in right this second.
Sure. Give me 2 seconds.
All right, sorry guys. This is just so frustrating. Sitting back, watching this climb and climb and climb. I can't. This is just what we have to deal with. But
Yeah. So what did this start at, and what are you betting now?
I'm betting the 49.5. I've wanted it all week, but I mean, sitting back, watching it climb and climb and climb. It's still 50. Wow, it's still 50 at Pinnacle. Under 50 at minus 109. Wow. Okay. I've got to get this in right now. Jose, talk to us about what happened with you in baseball yesterday while I get this in.
Will do. It was nice to see everyone in the chat. Shout out to Scump Blaster, who gave me a winner yesterday in the soccer. Appreciate it. I only got the half win, Skunt, but I appreciate that. I do not have a graphic for you built yet, but I was thinking about it. And I'm going to continue to think about it, Skunt, so don't you worry. But it's nice to see everyone in the chat. Baseball went pretty well for me. I was up a unit, basically. The A's game pissed me off yesterday. Webb brought his A game.
That changeup was unhittable. It just
I had the money line too, so I was just hoping, like, just scratch across a run, get us to extras, and we can get into, potential for both. They had nothing for them, so that was a little annoying. But yeah, I started my day kind of similar as you. I started 3-0, and I was like, Okay. I said I was on the show. It feels like a 5-2, 6-0, kind of day, whatever, 7-0. And I was like, okay, feeling great. And then I was on the Pirates full game with you. I wasn't, I guess not with you, but you had the under thinking Woodford was going to pitch well. I had the Pirates. They capitulate. Those errors were brutal. O'Neal Cruz on my shit list for right now. So that was very frustrating. Padres cash. Thanks, shout out to you, TJ. And then, the Oakland bets lost for me there. But I still am up a unit on the day, and I'm only down 3 on the year. So, it's not, getting a 3-unit banger day to climb out of it the whole at once, but we'll continue to climb. We've had some winning days, and it's been very nice. But, shout out to you guys in the chat. Justin, nice to see you. Skunt, even Lynn Belvedere, who trolls every once in a while. It's nice to see you, Lynn, in here. Rem, imagining me shirtless, apparently, but it's nice to see you as well. Max on record, also in here. He just wrote test, so I hope that he is back in the chat. Maybe some YouTube chicanery from him also kicked him out, but it's going to be a good day. We have a short baseball card, and of course, I'm interested immediately in the Tigers as well with you, Ron Crawford. I believe you said that was your play of the day, your dog spreadsheet play of the day. And I like him too. And Kiter Montero, a lefty, or not a lefty, excuse me, a Venezuelan who I like, and, not surprised at all. So it's going to be fun. But I'm interested to see what you have to say about this CFL game because, everyone traditionally bet unders as well. And maybe we're going over today.
Oh, I am so frustrated. That's just, these things happen, but that is extremely frustrated. Ro Fernandez in the house. Aubrey Travis looking at Winnipeg plus 5.5. Aubrey, I think we might get a 6, but let's talk this out. Thank you for jumping in, Jose. Thank you for jumping in, Jose. I just moved on the under in Lions Bombers. I could have done this 40 minutes ago and had a big casher, but let's go. So this is a terrible rest situation here. We took advantage of this last week. The only difference in this one is the team with short rest, the Bombers, are at home. Last week when we faded the Stampeders, they were on the road, and that is a slight benefit. They last played Sunday night in Toronto. The BC Lions coming off their bye week. In years past, the bye week hasn't been very successful for CFL teams. We've broken that all down. That's not been the case this year. This year, teams coming out of their bye week are 6-1. We last saw the Lions in a 25-24 loss at home to the Stampeders in week 7. And I would want to back a team after that kind of a loss. It was a surprise, bit of a wake-up call for the BC Lions. But we've also seen in CFL that the bye week takes off a little bit of that edge, a little bit of that anger for losing. It kind of dissipates. It goes away with a week off, then you come back. It's not fresh in your mind. Vernon Adams Jr. had the worst game of the season, going 17-31 for 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been dealing with an abdominal injury throughout the season and probably really needed the week off. Vernon Adams leads the league with 2,395 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 108.8 passer rating. That's second in the league. He's not had a strong group of wide receivers this year, and he must be very excited to have star wide receiver Keon Hatcher back in the lineup for his season debut. Hatcher hasn't played since an Achilles injury in the division finals loss against Winnipeg last season. Hatcher was second in the league last year in receiving yards, 1,226 games. 1,226 yards in 16 games. So I thought this line would continue to move up because not only is Keon Hatcher coming back to the BC Lions, but Lucky Whitehead is being signed off the practice roster for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And we'll get into Lucky Whitehead here in a bit. Yes, I think it is. I think this is an under. I really do. I think this is an under at 49. I really do. Jordan Nordman back on his own account. Great to see you, Jordan Nordman. Painter Life's giving us a final score of 31-17. So another thing with the Lions and, Paredes on the Stamps is the same deal. They have kickers who don't miss field goals. Sean White right now has hit 42 straight field goals. That's incredible. And he's the place kicker for the BC Lions. So despite a weaker wide receiver group than last year, the Lions lead the league averaging 29.4 points per game. So then the question is Winnipeg's defense strong enough to slow down this Lions offense? That's is Winnipeg's defense strong enough to slow down? And I believe the answer is yes. I believe it. But if you read articles or you look at certain things, they'll say it's not. But in football and in a few different sports, but in football, you can shape the statistics to back your angle. And if you are shaping the statistics to say the Bombers defense is not good, I don't agree with it. But you can. You can. So you could say the defensive line gets no pressure. They don't sack the quarterback. Sure. They've also allowed the most big plays in the league, 30-plus yards. So, yes, these are bad stats. Or you could look at they're third in the league, allowing 23.3 points per game. I watch all these games. They've allowed one touchdown pass, or just one touchdown, one offensive touchdown in the last 2 games. One touchdown they've allowed offensively in the last 2 games. They allow by far the most yards on the ground, but they allow the second least amount of passing yards. And the Lions want to beat you through the air. Stanback is not the engine of this offense. They want to beat you through the air. And Adam Bighill is still, I think, the best linebacker in the league. 35 years old, Adam Bighill. He's all over the field. And the Bombers can't score. The Bombers can't score. So, yes, the Bombers are 1-7 against the spread this year. They've hurt the backers badly. But they're 7-1 to the under in their last 8 games. Now, of course, that's the whole season. 7 unders and 1 over. And that's not going to stop because they can't score. Last week, they lost 16-14 overtime at Toronto. They dominated the game. They outgained the Argos 400-205. If the Bombers had regular rest, I'd be on them because the ridiculous amount, they had 3 fumbles, 1 interception, and got stopped on 3rd down, 5 turnovers in that game. It's going to progress to the mean. They're not going to keep turning the ball over like this. And Brady Oliveira with the fumble. I mean, these guys are, Dembski with fumbles back-to-back games. It's just not going to keep happening. Like I said, they dominated that football game, and they have been decimated with injuries. So Drew Wolodarski is now added to that injury list. Pat Neufeld is on that 6-game injury list. Pat Neufeld's backup, though, is Kendall Randolph out of Alabama. So he's going to be fine. He's making his CFL debut here. And Wolodarski out, Kenny Lawler out, Dalton Schoen out, Carrick Wheatfall out. Yes, that hurts. So in comes Lucky Whitehead. And look, Lucky Whitehead has got a ton of speed and will open things up. He has drops, and there's a reason why he wasn't signed. There's a reason why the Lions didn't bring him back. There is a reason why he could have been picked up by any team in the NFL, and he wasn't until the Bombers came calling. Zach Collaros has been the most outstanding player twice in this league. We know what he's capable of. He has the lowest passer rating in the league at 81.8. He's throwing 3 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I truly, truly believe that the Bombers defense will do enough to slow down the Lions. Would I prefer the 51? Yes. Wow. Remo says a couple books even showing a 48.5. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guillermo Zertucci, I'm not sure about that, but I will let you know. I'd love to do a Travis show, but I'm not sure at this point. So again, here, I want to see how this line goes up, how high this line goes up. I hate that I didn't already have the under. I was just watching it go up and up and up. Yes, Lucky Whitehead from the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely. So the under can be bet at 49. It can be bet at 49. I believe the under is going to hit. I mean, if you look at that 25-24 game in Calgary, Calgary's offense is humming a lot cleaner than the Bombers' offense. And the Bombers' defense is better than the Stampeders' defense. So why wouldn't this hammer as well? So there we go. And there's Chang Kim in the house. Great to see you, Chang. And Joseph Thompson, last 31 days, 65 and 56 plus 9.85 units. I love to see it, man. It's great stuff. Great stuff. So I'd be very comfortable with just being on the under. Very comfortable. And I'd like to do that. But if this hits 6 across the board, it's going to be very tempting. Just the under for me in Lions, Bombers. There we go. There's our guy, Troy Torrance, in the house. Okay. Nate Dogg leaning over, and one constipated Mexican says we're going to see some points in this one. Buckle up. Again, the Bombers can't score. But it'll be interesting to see what Lucky Whitehead does. And the Lions defense is fresh. I want the under. That's what I want. And we will move on. Okay, let's roll here into NFL. It is finally here, the Hall of Fame game. We got wine time on the under 31.5, and Mal moving on the Texans and the under. Let's break this one down, talk about line history, and talk about cash flow. So let's move over to the NFL finally here, and I have moved on this game. I do think, though, that this game will be better off for live bettors. Right now, Houston is -1.5 at -111. They opened up at +2. It moved to +1 to -1 to -1.5. This also wasn't available on the money line at Pinnacle until this morning. It's now -128. They locked it up there for a while, but this opened up +109. It'd be a much better number to get than this -128 that's available right now. I got -130 at Bet365. I thought about taking the -1 line, the -1. Oh, sorry, I didn't even. Sorry, I split this bet up. I have part of it here with my local at -130 on the money line. And did I? Sorry, let me just go over this again. I thought I split this up. I am dealing with these tough. Oh no, I got -125. Okay, thank you. -125 on the Texans here. So back to this spot, and I spent quite a bit of time and I truly believe this is the best live betting situation, but let's break it down. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, 86 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 5 miles per hour. We've seen this big line move towards the Texans, and this total is just continuing to drop, opening up at 32, now 30.5. Could even see a 30 on the board. Everybody betting the under, and I get why. Matt Eberflus, 4-2 through 2 preseasons as the Bears head coach. In his first preseason, he went 3-0. He had something to prove. Last year, he went 1-2, and he's already said this year the starters aren't going to play, that he's looking at the fringe players, and that's obviously moved the line drastically. Shout out to our guy, Cheshire Cat, back-to-back $1.99 donos to bless our action to get us rolling. Thank you, Cheshire, my friend. So the Bears are not playing any starters. We know that Caleb Williams will not be making his NFL debut tonight. So the second stringer agent, Tyson Bagent, is expected to get the start. And he started 4 games in 2023. We remember them. He saw action in 5 games, and he had some good moments. The Bears were 2-3 in those games. Only once did they score 17 points. That was in a 30-12 victory at home over the Raiders. Overall, he was 94 for 143, completing 65.7% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he ran 23 times for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he lost 2 fumbles. So he's expected to be the number 2. And I think he's locked in on that spot. Now, they have brought over Brett Rippon from the Rams. Last year was his first for the Rams. Remember, he had 4 years in Denver. He started 1 game, appeared in 2, 18-38, completing 47.4% of his passes for 172 yards and a pick. Not a mobile quarterback. He ran 3 times. He lost a fumble. So this is the issue with the Bears. It's Austin Reed, the Western Kentucky Hilltopper. He is, I think, going to get the bulk of the action. Now, maybe Eberflus is going to play Brett Rippon to get a better idea of him for the bulk of the action. But I don't think that 1, 2, and 3 is up for grabs. Austin Reed here is playing to get on the practice roster. And he's not going to have weapons. Keenan Allen, of course, not going to be there. Rome Odunze, not going to be there. And so there's talk that there are there's a battle at the running back spot behind DeAndre Swift. But I don't know if there is. I think it's clear that's Khalil Herbert and Rashawn Johnson, the 4th round pick out of Texas last year, who will get the run. Khalil Herbert, 611 yards, 2 touchdowns last year in 12 games, and Rashawn Johnson ran for 352 yards. I don't think there's that much of a battle to me. So what's going to happen is Travis Homer will probably be getting a lot of opportunities to run the ball. They signed him in 2023 for it was up to $4.5 million with incentives. It's really a $4 million contract. And he played 253 snaps on special teams, just 4 on offense. So maybe Travis Homer wants to prove that he can get real snaps on offense. But I'm not sitting here thinking that there's much of a battle at running back either. So we saw Eberflus, who's a guy that I don't count on to care in a game like this. We know why he went 3-0 2 years ago. It was his first year as a head coach. I predict that Eberflus will care less and less about preseason football as we move forward. So let's talk about a coach who does care. And I truly believe that DeMeco Ryans cares. He had an incredible first season as head coach, winning the AFC South Division title. And he started the winning culture in preseason where the Texans went 2-1. Another thing about DeMeco is we know he's a defensive specialist. So the battles and what he'll be watching the closest will be on defense. If your coach is a defensive specialist and you're trying to get on the team and you're playing, these guys are going to be going all out. I have faith that DeMeco Ryans cares about getting a W in this game more than Eberflus. Maybe not that much, but more than Eberflus. So it's Davis Mills will be starting, we expect. He's the number 2 behind CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud won't be there. Last year, he didn't look that good. 36-22 loss. He went 15-32 in the one game he started for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is the number 2 spot locked up. And it's not like we're going to see Case Keenum get a lot of run here, who's got the 3rd string locked up. So this is where I think the advantage in this football game is. It's Tim Boyle over Austin Reed. So I think Agent Bajent is like, I thought about taking the Bears first half and the Texans full game. I thought about it and I didn't, but I really thought about it. And I think that you can hold back a little bit of the cash on this bet in case, Agent Bajent and the Bears start delivering off the top. Because I think I have a higher expectations of Bajent than I do of Davis Mills. Where is the biggest advantage? It's Tim Boyle over Austin Reed. Tim Boyle is the 4th string, and he wants to prove that he can be here. Case Keenum first. I don't think he gets much run. We know what he does. Last year, he started 2 games. He was 34-53 for 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He won the first one 19-16 at the Titans in overtime, and everybody was like, "Oh man, Case Keenum! Oh, this guy still got it." 36-year-old Case Keenum, and then he got completely shut down at home versus the Browns. Tim Boyle's going to want to show something. Comes over from the Jets. He started 2 games. He lost both. He looked horrible, 48-77. Now, he did complete 62.3% of his passes. He can check down fine, 360 yards, but 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions when he was going for it. Things were falling apart. They lost both games badly, 34-13 at home versus the Dolphins, 13-8 at home versus the Falcons. But I want Boyle over Austin Reed. That's what it comes down to. And I expect Boyle to get most of the run. So there'll be no Stephon Diggs, their new wide receiver. The incumbents like Nico Collins and Tate Dell won't be there. But we hear that Ben Skronik and John Mechie are going to be there. Skronik will make catches. They also picked up Joe Mixon during the offseason. We don't know if he'll play at all in the preseason. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. Brady says Bears have a new OC and are learning a new system. Mills has continuity in that Houston offense. Mills is much better spot for a knowledge standpoint. Yes, but I don't think Mills is going to play much. I don't. And that's my concern. My dude says Bajent solid, especially since he started 4 games last year, 2-2 in those starts. Aubrey Davis saying Bajent solid. Yes. No, I agree with all that. And Aubrey Travis on the other side of a lot of cappers, he's on the first half over 50.5. And it was funny that you are on that, Aubrey, because I thought, isn't this game going to slow down to a crawl here? I mean, it's not like Tim Boyle's going to be airing it out deep. And do we expect Austin Reed to be able to deliver? So, I'm surprised that because I've seen a lot of sharp cappers on that first half under. I'm leaving the total alone. I am on the Houston Texans with the expectation that Tim Boyle will lead them to victory in the second half. There we go. That's it. Now, there's 2 advantages that I see just before we close up shop. 1, Tim Boyle over Austin Reed. And 2, the defense putting every ounce of effort in for DeMeco Ryans. Now, I know that Eberflus has got these fringe players that are trying to make the roster, and you can expect them to put out a ton of effort. But I think it's quite telling that Eberflus went 3-0 in his first exhibition season and then 1-2 last year. And then I expect him to go 0-3 this year, which we will see. All right, there we go. Texans, Bears. I'm on the Texans money line, and I'm on the under in the Lions Bombers. Zoe Faye says, who's got the better kicker? I have not got that all capped, Zoe, my friend, but it is important to ask. I think the one thing that we're going to do in every exhibition game, and we've, last year wasn't quite as big of a winning year as 2 years ago, and those are the first 2 years that we hammered exhibition, is we're going to focus on the coaches' records, the coaches that seem to care about getting the year off to a winning start, and the coaches that do not care at all. So we'll be doing that. Brady says Houston just had a defensive end injury as well, so there's a spot up for grabs. Houston D will show up in this one. They almost killed Diggs in non-contact practice. I love it, Brady. So there we go. That is our first bet of the young NFL season. We're following the steam, and I see the steam, and I don't get too carried away. I think it was Eberflus's comment that caused all the steam. It's not that I wanted to. When I heard that comment, I didn't rush to the window to bet the Texans. When I realized or game scripted Tim Boyle over Austin Reeds when I went to the table. Goran and Cosby saying Santos is the better kicker. Johnny Gunn says this would be a great game to take total punts over. Unfortunately, my book doesn't offer it for preseason. We do not get a lot of offers in this one. So you're absolutely right. We do not get a lot of offers in this one. I'm still blown away that we can't get that 51 in the CFL game. Just waited too long. Birdie says steam matters in preseason. I hear you, Birdie, but it often is based on a 1 or 2 lines by a head coach, and I'd prefer, having a game script involved. And when Eberflus says, we're not playing any starters. We're looking at who's going to step up from our fringe roster. I mean, then the line moves extraordinarily quickly in that. But there we go. That is NFL and CFL. That is the gridiron for today. It is time to move into Major League Baseball. One constipated Mexican says coaches' preseason records historically mean nothing. Has nothing to do with the cap. That's so funny. All right. I'll tell that to Harbaugh and the Ravens. One constipated Mexican. Let's get into I think he's just saying stuff just to mess with us. I don't think he means the things that he says. Let's move on to Major League Baseball and bring in the star of baseball programming here on Pub Sports Radio, coming to us from San Antonio, Texas. Please welcome Jose Bouquett to the show. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Just grinding through the baseball season. Kind of excited for football season to come. If only because it brings back all our familiar faces in the chat again, obviously. But baseball is still going to be going for a while. So excited for that.
Yes, and we have 5 games to break down. We have got best bets here from Cappers in the chat. We have Mally Mal on the over 8.5 in the Braves game. Cheshire Cat, thank you, my friend. Cheshire Cat blessing our action. That was for you, Jose. Those were for you.
Thanks, Cheshire. Appreciate it. By the way, Jimmy, I think I'm going to just take almost all the dogs today, so that should be an interesting time. I mean, all the same line movements. It's going to be very interesting to talk about.
Yes, and we also have stacks play today. Soler. We have Atlanta -1.5 from Viper, and Rod and Crawford spreadsheet dog play today in as well. So lots of stuff to talk about. Let's get right to work here, Jose. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. We start with the Baltimore Orioles at the Cleveland Guardians. Is this not going to be Trevor Rogers? I mean, they're not saying it. I
agree. I hope it's Trevor Rogers. I think it's Trevor Rogers.
I mean, Ben Lively is pitching really well right now. Ben Lively is pitching very well right now. Birdie says, how did TJ do yesterday. Our friend Birdie, we will always answer these questions. Let me pull up TJ's action from yesterday. He took the Marlins live. He cashed that. He took the Diamondbacks team total over 4.5, cashed that. Mariners minus 106, lost that. Padres minus 127, he cashed that. Colorado, LA over 8.5, missed that, and he missed the double up on the A's. So the live bet helped him, but overall 3 and 4. And he made a point of making sure that the live bet counted as a official pick, which we're happy to do. And I know some cappers tailed that spot. So that's what we got there from our guy, TJ. Cheshire Cat says Westberg broke his damn hand on that hit by pitch. Let's talk about this spot, though. If it is Trevor Rogers, and I know we shouldn't do too much due diligence. We want to do at least some due diligence on it. You guys know I've been saying for the last month that he is absolutely... I mean, he's just pitching as well as I've seen him pitch in his career. And the numbers weren't really showing that. Now, he hasn't allowed, I believe, more than 2 earned runs in a month. But I was telling you guys, as soon as he gets a chance to pitch against a team that's not hitting lefties hard, he's going to have a 7-inning, 1-run performance. And that was before a game against the Brewers, who were hitting 300 with a 900 OPS versus lefties. And he went 5 in July. And he went 5 1/3, allowed 2 earned runs. He's pitching really well. And the Guardians aren't hitting lefties. 225, 672 OPS. They're not hitting lefties. On the road here, we have the Orioles. Trevor Rogers was 2 and 4 with a 4.27 ERA, 268 opponent's batting average. Ben Lively's been pitching very well. That was a really impressive performance in a 3-1 win at the Philadelphia Phillies. And he's been very good at home. 5-1, 2.66 ERA, 233 opponent's batting average. The Orioles are hitting righties hard, 262, 778 OPS. And the Orioles bullpen, 4.83 ERA, 1.25 whip in July, while the Guardians bullpen has been great all year, 2.38 ERA, 1.08 whip. So I would like to be involved in a first 5 under. I would like, but I also really want to know that it is Trevor Rogers. And we have 87 Fahrenheit, feels like 92, 8.5 miles per hour in. If I don't know it's Trevor Rogers, I'm not going to move on. I think Trevor Rogers is bet on. It's always tricky with that first start of the year. So let's take a look at the line history without a pitcher being announced, and then hand it over to our guy, Jose. So here we go. We have, let's move over here. Only Bovada and Will Hill in my bookie have lines for this. Will Hill opened this up at minus 110 at 825 this morning. I had to pick them on each side. On the total, this is a 9.5 minus 120 to the under at Will Hill. That's, again, it hasn't moved since they opened it. And it probably doesn't make too much sense to look at the cash flow here for this one. But there's 8,000 tickets in. 44% of the tickets, 84% of the cash is on the Orioles. And on the total, 94% of the tickets, 93% of cash on the over. Take it away, Jose, Orioles, Guardians.
Yeah, I just can't really move on the game. It's very interesting to see Ben Lively's splits, by the way, versus lefties, a 192 average against versus righties, 271. And Rodney Barty mentioning that the Orioles have 5 lefties in today. So it's interesting. We'll see how everything confirms and shakes out. I'm going to be watching the start because I agree. I think Trevor Rogers could be bet on in the second half of this season. I think the Orioles are good at making adjustments to their pitchers as well, but no action for me so far.
Justin McKelvey thinks Trevor gets hammered today. We just haven't seen the Guardians beat up lefties. Just haven't seen it.
And if he does, I think this is a start where he goes out there and kind of does what he used to do with the Marlins, and the Orioles, get all the data on him, and then from there, make the changes and adjustments. So it will be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
What's your expectation with Ben Lively against this Orioles offense?
I've been a Ben Lively guy kind of all year. It's been funny. His home road splits, since I have him up, 40 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.66 ERA at home, a road 3.99. So yeah, I'd much rather have him at home, obviously, based on those splits. His last start, even though it was on the road, he dominated against Philadelphia, 6 innings, 1 earned run. He's just been quietly solid all year. So, yeah, it'd be an under look for me as well. And I'd be interested to see what this line comes out at when it does. For me, I don't know what to expect. Like minus 120 Guardians. I don't know.
I think they'll stay at Pick'em. I think this line is set for Trevor Rogers, but that total is higher than one would think. 9.5. I mean, I can't move on it until we get more info, but it feels like this 9.5 is just a little too high. So maybe it's not.
Wind's kind of blowing in as well. It goes from first to third for the first hour, and then blows straight into the second hour. So that's interesting as well.
Jermaine Conley saying, wondering if the Westberg injury takes some steam out of them. All right. So no action for us, but I really want Rogers. I want to see him. I want to watch him. I'm looking forward to back him. I'm a believer in Trevor Rogers. I've only been for about 5 weeks, but it was that start where he only went 3 innings. He walked too many batters, and I was like, look, his stuff is the best I've seen it all year. And they gave up a lot for him. This was not a small amount. Oh, I don't have that. Let me get Trevor Rogers' game log up. Mal leaning to the under as well. Trevor Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised, and it was one of those quieter trades. Like I didn't realize until like a few hours after the deadline that he got traded to the Orioles of all people.
So he's allowed more than 2 runs once in his last 9 starts, and that was 3 earned runs and against the Phillies at Philadelphia. That's it. And it was that next start against the Red Sox where he got unlucky. He struck out 6. He was just using too many pitches to get through. Because remember, when this run started, this run of 9, he had a 5.68 ERA.
Yeah, it was very bad.
It's now down over a run from that. So I think he's go-to here. He allowed a home run against Milwaukee in 5 1/3, part of the 2 earned runs, but he's only allowed 2 home runs in his last 5 starts. I think he's bet on. So if you look from in June, he got lit up, 7.78 ERA, but in July, 3.56 ERA over 30 1/3. In June, 3.56, in July, 3.38. That's what he's pitching like. So, okay, let's roll on to the next spot on the board, and we come to Ron Crawford's spreadsheet dog play of the day. And shout out to our guy Ron Crawford. He is on the Detroit Tigers. Let's get into this spot right here, and let's roll, Jose. Royals, Tigers, Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. We will start with the weather in this one. We have 90 Fahrenheit, feels like 93. It's not that hot up here. I'm surprised it's so hot down there. 10 miles per hour. It's 4 hours away. 10 miles per hour in is the weather in Royals, Tigers. And we have Seth Lugo. And there's our guy DJ Big Boss in the house. Says, where is sorry, let me pull this back up. Where is our old ladies at? DJ, you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. You are the one who inspired us many, many, many moons ago to keep our eye out for all women. It was you, DJ, and we followed your lead. We followed your lead. Now, of course, some of these old ladies, are more attractive than others. That's what's up when you deal with older women. They're not all going to be fire. They're not all. Some deliver in a big way, but they don't all. They don't all do it. But it's as if we were waiting for you, Big Boss. It's as if we were just sitting back going, at some point, DJ Big Boss is going to be here, and we could show our treasure trove of older women. That does look a lot like Biden. This one, not so much. And it's probably not the best setup that this is where we close up shop. But this is the end of that. You know what? We don't have to do that. You know what we can do?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there we can go.
I can't wait to see her back in the net.
Oh,
Are you excited about the Canucks?
I'm getting a little more excited.
Because obviously last year they came from nowhere, and in preseason you weren't that thrilled, and this year they do that. I wanted to gauge your interest now.
I'm extremely interested in the season, and I'd like to see DeBrusk in that top 6 group. I think he's going to fit in perfectly. But there's decisions that have been made with contracts that just drive me ballistic. We have a little Swede with toddler shoulders who's getting paid $11 million a year, and it's going to handcuff us for a decade. And I can't comprehend, why we'd make those types of deals. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, I do think it's going to be. I do think that they're a team on the rise. Rick Tocchet's a hell of a coach. We have the spreadsheet play today in with the Detroit Tigers. Let's bring in our special guest on today's show, the star of Medicaid Mondays, coming to us from Dallas, Texas. Please welcome Dabra Cadabra to the show. Dabby, how are you?
I'm good, man. Yesterday was the first day I spent more time capping football than baseball, and it felt good, man. I can't lie. Baseball's cool and all, but fuck, I love college football and college basketball so much more when it comes to gambling.
Yeah, baseball is
it's fine. It's fine. And look, I've said it all along. When I open up here towards the end of the season, I know for a fact I'm going to end in the green. I'm just frustrated with where I'm at, but I'm not. I have no worries about finishing in the green. I know that I'm going to do that.
Well, we believe in you. And Yordan Alvarez hit a ball to the wall in that first at bat. It was a great catch by Michael A. Taylor.
He hit another one 107 too.
But he didn't have an extra base hit at home in all of July. Not one extra base hit at home. On the road, he's ripping the leather off the ball. And Yordan did this all last year too, but not as dramatic as this year. He's the best hitter in the league on the road, and at home, Vladdy did this last year as well. But that for Michael A. Taylor made a hell of a grab. That game, you want to talk frustrating? I mean, I'm on the under 8.5. And I have Woodford, and I'm like, I believe in Woodford. We broke down Woodford to a T, and there was 6 errors in that baseball game, and there was that 2 base error. I mean, Woodford didn't allow an earned run. It's just against the Astros. I mean, that stuff is just so frustrating. You lose it by a hook, but it is what it is, and we love it. Mal saying Gunner no homers all of July as well. But let's talk about this game because Seth Lugo, who's throwing 142 in the third innings, has now been lit up and smoked in 2 of his last 4 starts. Now the All-Star game separates it, and they've talked all year about the revolutions that Seth gets on his curveball, and that there's just nothing like it in Major League Baseball right now. And I'm wondering if he's dealing with arm fatigue, allowing 6 earned runs in his last start at home versus the Cubs. He's been great on the road all year, 7-2, 2.51 ERA, 69 strikeouts over 71 2/3, 216 opponents batting average. And we have Kiter Montero, he looks like the real deal, but he has been struggling. He looked good against the Jays, and they pulled him early. But he gets hit. This total opened up at 8.5, and it dropped to 8, and then got back up to 8.5. We have a 3-cent move towards the under. On the money line here in this one, we have the Tigers at plus 137. They opened up at plus 144. So there's been a legit move over to them, and it's been throughout the day, or throughout yesterday and this morning. And when we get to the cash flow, 95% of tickets, 93% cash on the Royals. And 85% of tickets and 99% of cash is on the Royals. If this was just a market-based bet, I'd be on the Tigers. And when you hear Ron Crawford on the Tigers, it all makes sense. But there's just not enough that correlates for me. Montero is not trustworthy at this point. 10 home runs allowed in 36 2/3. I think he's going to be a great pitcher. The Royals are hitting 279, 763 OPS versus righties. Tigers 240, 731. But the Tigers lineup of late has looked really weak. They're not trying to sneak in to the wild card. If they hadn't swept the Jays, they would have got over 500. They lost that last game against the Jays, and they've slipped and they've let go. Royals bullpen 4.30 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Tigers bullpen 3.81 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. Best bet time from Daby Cab. Take it away.
Yeah, last thing I want to be is against Ron and against a market here. But just Montero, here's the thing. When you say he's got good stuff, he does have good stuff, but there's no drop back in his arm when he throws the baseball, and the hitters can see the ball for a long time. And it just shows, like, you look at, he's given up 42 hits in 36 and 2/3 innings. I just think there's too much visual from the ball from out of the hand to the plate from him. And I think something's got to change. I think that's why big league hitters have been getting to him. And for me, this is a Royals team you don't want to go against. And Lugo, you said it, he struggled 2 of his last 4 starts. Who do you want to pitch against if you've been struggling, but you're having a really good season? The Tigers, right? This is a team that you want to pitch against if you've been struggling a little bit and you want to get right. So I think this is a good spot for him. I think this is a good lineup for him to go against. I took the Royals in the first 5 on the run line here, and it's just one of those things like, the Royals made some subtle pickups. We talked about Lorenzen from the Rangers. I kind of think he's just very average, but he's going to be able to eat innings for them. I just think they're showing that, they really are the real deal. I've been saying it early on when a lot of people were questioning it, if they're really going to be, a good team for a full season. I think they've shown that they will. I think they're going to keep continuing playing, good baseball and make a push, to do something this year. And in order to do that, you have to beat teams like the Tigers at this point in time in the season. And that's what they're going to do.
I feel you. Did you tweet this out?
No.
Royals first 5 -1/2. I will line shop while we hear Jose Bouquet's breakdown. Take it away, Jose.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to take all the dogs today. And obviously, we didn't take the first one because who knows who the dog is in Cleveland Orioles. I don't have a line for that. But I'm going to take all the dogs today. So give me Kiter Montero showing the fucking Royals the ball the whole time, and give me the money line here for Detroit Tigers. Plus 138. You went over the line movement, Jimmy, but I'll touch on it one more time. Only 15% of the bets and 1% of the money on the Detroit Tigers. This line is interesting. Bet Online opened this up at -153, but that only lasted for about 20 minutes and then shot up to -164. Who knows why that is? But it opened up there and it just goes right back down, and it trickles all the way down to -150 again. With all that money on the Tigers, all the money on the Royals, I'll be on the Tigers. In that case, all the totals are the same way, basically. All the money on the over here. This one just went up into the 8.5 instead of going down. So it's very interesting in that aspect. But give me the Tigers here plus 138.
You got it. Tigers plus 138, and Daby Cab on the Royals first 5 -1/2. You get -107 available at Pinnacle. Skunk Blaster on the Detroit Tigers plus 130 big. And young Native Tino got Bears with 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. Interesting. So I think that the Texans defense will be playing hard for D'Amico, but I have copied and pasted that, Tino, and we will revisit it tomorrow. Daby Cab Royals first 5 at -107. His best bet here for today. Daby, what are you looking at with your football study? And but before we close up, did anything catch your eye at this point?
Oh man, I told you. So I've been really deep into the SEC right now, just because that's the first conference that I'm going to break down. And man, I just Ole Miss, man. I think Ole Miss this is finally a chance. They got a team that could put them on the map and compete with some of the bigger dogs. It's going to be real interesting to see how Alabama does. They got Washington's coach, so even though Saban's gone, I think it's going to be fun to see. Lots of good stuff, Jimmy. I cannot wait for college football. I can go on and on.
It's great. It's great that you brought up Ole Miss, because our friend Wine Time Sports messaged me when I was in Cuba, and he told me that Ole Miss season win total over is a must bet. and he broke it all
They're
down.
very good. They are a very talented football team.
And I met, because you guys know I have to call if I do anything over 5. So I max bet. I put 500 on the over 9.5 wins, minus 115. That was what it was at 360. I haven't looked at what it is since, but that's the only future bet I have in college football.
Man, I'm so excited, man. I mean, you don't understand. Like the intensity, I'll bet $1,500 on a college football game. There's no fucking way I would do that on a baseball game. Just would never do it. So it's just a different world. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but that's my only future bet. DC Capper on the under in the Hall of Fame game. DC Capper, I guess did you get that at the very opening? Because it's 30.5 right now. But if you got that at 33, I didn't see it ever at 33.5. But if you did, great work.
I'll take that Ole Miss with you. You can go ahead and make it official. I'll take that win total with you in 110. I'm on it anyway. So yeah, go ahead and put me down for that too.
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead and start our accounts right now.
Wine Time broke it down, and I liked what I heard, and I sat with it for a couple of days too, and because I was on vacation, and
on Saturday on Say Hey, I gave out North Carolina Tar Heels first half +1 against Minnesota, August 29th, or when was it? August 29th is that game? Yeah, August 29th. It's a Thursday.
I'm excited. Let's just go to the very quickly here, see if it's still available for all of you guys here. The over 9.5 wins. It was minus 115 for Ole Miss about a week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. And let's just see what it is right now. It is still there. Over 9.5 minus 115. Sitting there waiting for us. Dapper Capper says, I know Padres burnt us last year, but I got 10-1 on them to win the West. 4.5 back and have a cakewalk schedule. Oh, it's not a bad look. I agree. I agree, Joey. We broke that down yesterday. I've not moved on it though, but
my dude asked about Notre Dame if they go undefeated. This is just a fan in me. I won't be betting A&M, but week 1 they got A&M. They're at Kyle Field. That's going to be a hell of a football game right there.
Ole Miss over 9.5 wins. All right, let's roll on. Daby Cab best bet is the Royals first 5 minus a half minus 107. Now you guys can all win because Ron Crawford and Jose are on the full game here. Daby Cab will be with us tomorrow. He'll also be co-hosting the Say Hey Plays on Saturday, and of course Medicate Mondays every Monday. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show, Daby?
Yeah, we don't have anything without you guys in the chat, man. Shout out my dude, Joey, Justin, everybody, man. Cheshire Cat, I see you sending those stickers. DJ Big Boss, man. Love DJ Big Boss, man. It's been too long. I got to kick it with DJ Big Boss again soon. Shout out to all you guys, man. I'll be back tomorrow. And like I said, right before the All-Star break and right after the All-Star break is not my favorite time to bet on baseball, but in a couple weeks, it is my favorite time to bet on baseball. And I'm going to open up more. I've been saying it for over a month now. I'm just waiting for the right time. And the right time will be in a couple weeks. And that's when I'll probably be sitting here with you, 6 games on the schedule instead of 1, right? So I'll see you guys tomorrow, man.
I love it. There he is, Daby Cab in the house. Don't forget, we are racing today. We are racing. And I think because the Olympics are here, we should swim.
Sounds good.
Let's swim. All right, let's move on to 7:20 p.m. Eastern with the Miami Marlins 40 and 68, 18 and 34 on the road. Atlanta Braves 58 and 49, 30 and 21 at home at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Max Meyer. This kid is extremely talented. The 3rd overall pick out of the University of Minnesota. I thought he was drafted out of high school. He was drafted out of high school, but he didn't sign. He's a Minnesota kid, high school Minnesota, University of Minnesota. And he had those 3 starts early in the year and looked excellent. And then the last start, he didn't look as good. In Jacksonville this year, he had Tommy John, so we didn't see him in 2023. And he pitched for the Marlins. He got 2 starts in 2022 as a 23-year-old, now 25. And it's his time to lead this rotation. He, in Jacksonville, threw 58 innings, 1.48 whip, 4.34 ERA. He's a good pitcher. He is a good pitcher. And I don't.
By the way, Jimmy, real quick, sorry to interrupt, but I've been thinking about the Padres and their futures for the last, since we talked about it yesterday. I was thinking because I do want to make a future on them because I'm starting to come around. I didn't research Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove before doing all this, but I think I'm going to bet them to win the AL West or the NL West. Excuse me. I have to go search the odds and all that stuff, but I was imagining and thinking in my head, what is more likely, them to win the National League or them to come back from these games? And I was kind of leaning more towards the Padres. I saw Joey Marinaccio just mentioned as well that he thinks the same thing about the Padres. And I've been thinking about it, so I think I'm going to move on that, but just needed to get that out there and see what everyone else thinks and all that stuff. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but
that division, though, Jose's yesterday was plus 1,300 and today's plus 800. So,
what?
Yeah, so that's a big difference.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
I
hear
need to see it.
I hear you. We also, in this one, we have the stacks play of the day, Jorge Soler over 1.5 bases at plus 108. Shout out to our guy, Justin McKelvey.
Stacks.
Crazy. 800 from 1,300 literally yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday on this show, we talked about it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because remember,
fucking annoying.
yesterday when we talked about it, there were it was higher odds to win the division than it was to win the NL.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the NL was 11-1, the division was 13-1. In one win, the NL is now 10-1, and the division went down to 8-1.
Well, there you go. All right. I'm not going to bet it now, I guess, but that is frustrating.
Cheshire Cat with the dono, man, blessing our action. He says he doesn't have a video, but
when Cheshire Cat decides to stick to one account, Cheshire, that's when I'll make you a video, you son of a bitch. But thank you for the dono. So we appreciate you, my man.
Yeah, he's it means a ton to us. So we thank you very much, Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling here with this Marlins spot. We have, I kind of hate this so much. I've lost the chat. Let me pull it back up here. There we go. Sorry, the chat went south on me. Because the Dapper Capper has made a move here. The Dapper Capper is on Morton over 17.5 outs against this Marlins ball club. And Ricky Levine backing Maximus Meyer. First 5 innings, Ricky backing in. And Cheshire Cat says Chiefs 3-peat. I know there's a lot of sentiment towards the Chiefs delivering. Can't wait for NFL when we start tonight. But let's go. Charlie Morton, Max Meyer. So Max Meyer came back in a 7-3 win at the Brewers. He only made it through 4 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. And he looked great in those 3 April starts. Went back to Jacksonville, and he's come up with the trades of Trevor Rogers and more. Robert Franklin on the Marlins money line. Charlie Morton, 5-6, 4.16 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, coming off an 8-4 loss at the Mets, where he got touched up for 7 runs, 5 of which were earned over 2 2/3. At home, he's been great all year. 3-3, 3.32 ERA, 236 opponents batting average. He's only allowed 5 home runs over 57 innings. The Marlins are hitting righties harder than the Braves, 259, 740. Braves 232, 706. Those are July stats, and both bullpens have been very good, but the Marlins did trade away a bunch of key pieces, but a 2.86 ERA, 1.16 WHIP for the Marlins bullpen in July, while the Braves 2.60, 1.05. Let's get into the weather and the line history and hear what Jose thinks of this spot. 93 Fahrenheit, feels like 103. Very, very hot. 7.8 miles per hour, right to left, very slightly in, but it goes down to 6.6. It's just right to left. So let's take a look at the line history here in this one. Let's go to full game. Back to money line, sorry. And here we go. We have a Morton and the Braves at minus 192. They opened up at minus 191. Just 1 cent of movement towards the Braves. On the total, we have an 8.5 minus 107 to the under. This opened up at 9. Opened up at 9, moved to 8.5, and then that's where it is. 8.5 minus 107 to the under. A half run move to the under, a legit move to the under. Let's get into the cash flow here. For this one, we have 91% of the tickets and 100% of the cash. on the Braves, 9% of the tickets on the Marlins. On the total here, we have 87% of the tickets on the over and 70% of cash. So it's 13 and 30 on the under, which has now become very appealing to me. Very appealing to me. Question is, can Charlie Morton and Max Meyer handle the 103 temperature? Now, I don't see why Max Meyer wouldn't. I mean, he's been in Jacksonville and Miami, so I'm sure he'll be fine. And Charlie Morton's been pitching for the Braves for a while. Take it away here, Jose Bouquett, Marlins, Braves.
Yep, Marlins for me. The Braves have been the best under team in baseball all season. And if this game, which I believe is probably going to go under, stays under, it's going to be close enough for the Marlins, I think, here. So Marlins money line here. Again, and I'm being literal. I'm taking all the underdogs here today, plus 174 for me on the Marlins. Again, you read off the market, but I'll do it again here. Opened up at BetOnline at minus 210. Minus 210 quickly goes down to minus 192, up to minus 197, but then settles at minus 190 here. And like you mentioned again, 91% of the bets. I got 100% of the money, but we all know it's just 99, whatever. But all the money on the Braves and the line moving down. Give me the Marlins here. Dogs. And Max Meyer, good enough pitcher. I think he can stifle a Braves lineup that we know in the first place is not as elite as it once was. Hence all the unders from them. So yeah, Marlins money line for me. And I'm more interested to see, I'm looking up right now, Charlie Morton's history against the Marlins in general, because obviously we know that Charlie Morton's faced these guys, I'm sure, plenty of times. His last 2 starts, one this year, one last year, 5 2/3, 6 earned runs from Charlie Morton, 4 2/3, 6 earned runs as well. So that was last year and his last start from this year as well. So interesting.
And what was the line you got on the Marlins?
Plus 174.
Plus 174. I'm going to be on the under 8.5. So that will. I've come in with one bet on the MLB card, but I'm going to add that as well. True Talk says Miami 29-22-1 to the under as a road dog. Paul Thompson says you should do a live Woodbine Thursday night show. Great coverage, pictures from Woodbine. I would love to do that. It's just Friday's just too big of a card. I've thought about that often, but Friday's just too big of a card. It would actually be easier for me to do Hastings Park on a Friday night, late night Friday night action, but Hastings doesn't deliver like Woodbine. Woodbine, you get these huge cashers. It's just Friday's the biggest card generally especially during the summer. So we will see. Jermaine Conley says righty versus righty in Atlanta games under. I wonder if I should have some concern with the Marlins bullpen after giving up all the pieces, but I still think that they can shut down the Braves. Although Austin Riley became a father. I don't know if it was the first time, but had a child a couple weeks ago. He's rolling right now. He's hitting so well. He's rolling, and Olsen's rolling. So they now have 2 batters hitting, and Ozuna's been good all year. But I think the under 8.5 is where I'll go, because then you get the Braves bullpen as well. Under 8.5 for me in Marlins Braves. Let's move on to the next ball on the board, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. I want to fade Sonny Gray so badly. Now, we did in his last start, and we lost 10-8 in extra innings. The Nats had a runner on third in the 10th, or was it the 10th? I think it was when in extra innings, and with none out or 1 out, it was minus 550 live, and we couldn't get that home. A very, very difficult. Philly Eagle Flyer, by the way, says no tide after second inning plays today. We'll be back on them tomorrow. They've been rolling Philly Eagle Flyer. I want to fade Sonny Gray so bad. On the road, he's got a 5.29 ERA. He's allowed 10 homers and 47 2/3. He's just not rolling right now. But the market won't allow me to do it. And I was wondering, I was like, is this based on Sonny Gray's year-long statistics? Because he's just not that pitcher right now. Maybe you could say the same about Showtime Managa, who's coming off 3 earned runs in a 9-4 win at the Royals, 2.95 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. At home, he's 3-1 with 3.14 ERA, 226 opponents batting average. The Cardinals have no power versus lefties. They're hitting 265, but with just 704 OPS. And the Cubs aren't hitting righties. 238, 697 OPS. Oh, I love him, Paul. Sorry, Von Polo. I don't know anything about that stuff, man. I can't speak on it. I don't know
That's just YouTube, VP. Sorry about that.
But I don't know. Like I don't know why that's happening or how that's happening. I don't know anything about it. My dude's play today is Ian Happ over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -115. Let's get that copied and pasted here. Pop that in here. So the bullpen, Cubs bullpen continues to pitch very, very well. 1.50 ERA, 1.05 WHIP. Cardinals bullpen 3.74 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. So the market just didn't roll with me on this one. This total is at an 8. It opened up at 7.5, got up to 8, dropped 7.5, got up to 8. I guess the first 5 over, go back to that well that cashed very easily for me yesterday. Of course, I was against Cincinnati. Maybe the over 4. But the funny thing about this is this first 5 has had a 6-cent move to the under, even though the full game's gone from 7.5 to 8. So it's the market just held me back from actually betting anything in this game. 91% of the tickets, 84% cash is on the over. So 9 and 16 on the under. It certainly appears that is sharp action. On the money line, you have a 71% of tickets and 99% of cash on the Cubs. So you have 99% of cash on the Cubs, and yet this line is moving towards the Cardinals. The Cardinals opened up. Oh no, not anymore. There's now being the Cardinals opened up at even money. Wow, why did I think? For some reason I thought that I wasn't getting a move to the Cubs, but you did get it. There was a 5-6 cent move, 2 cent move, but still with 99% of the cash, maybe you might want more than 2 cents of movement. I mean, everybody is sitting here. Everybody is sitting here seeing what Sonny Gray is doing, and take it away for us here, Jose. Cardinals, Cubs.
Yeah, I again, dogs here. That's all the money on the favorite, line moving towards the dog. This is my least favorite one. I'll tell you guys that now. This is the one I am the most little scared about. But I'm going to take the Cardinals. I was thinking about leaving it out, and then I was like, if I leave this one out, why am I leaving this one out compared to the other ones? Cardinals against lefties, by the way, you mentioned how they were struggling, but since the All-Star break, since the All-Star break, the 19th to today, Cardinals against lefties, 14th, 122 weighted runs created plus and 142 plate appearances. So hitting them pretty well as of late. I'll trust Sonny Gray. Give me the Cardinals here. I got even money on them.
Cardinals for Jose at plus 100. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stay off. It just doesn't correlate. Shout out to Cheshire Cat, just handing us donos throughout the show to bless our action. We love. Oh, but that's for you, Jose. That one's for you.
Well, again, if Cheshire Cat, if our days go well, we have winning days, undefeated days. He's gonna have to keep doing this. So
let's roll here because this is the one spot that I moved on. I'm on the Colorado Rockies first 5. I was on them first 3, which cashed, first 5, which pushed yesterday. But this is a bet on Ryan Feltner. Feltner is pitching very well right now.
It's funny to say that when he's sitting at 1-10.
He's pitching very well. So, he's been pitching well for a month. And I kind of like Carson Fulmer. I kind of like him. And I'm not going to, at home, opponents are hitting 130 against him. But he didn't look great in that last start. He only allowed 2 hits, but he walked 3 batters, went through 5 2/3. Feltner coming off a great start at the Giants. He saw the Giants in back-to-back performances and shut him down in both. He's been pitching great for a month now. Let's just go over what Feltner's been doing. And then the sharp actions all over the Rockies in this one. At least it was. We'll go over it and see if it still is. But this was just a pretty clear, I believe I have an advantage on the mound with Feltner. So if you go over Feltner's last few starts, the only time he's been hit for more than a run in the last, more than 2 runs over his last 6 starts was at the Mets. The Mets are hitting hard right now. And even in that game, he struck out 7, but he walked 5 and he had to leave early. He's had 2 of his last, if you take that Mets start out, Then 2 of his last 3 starts, he's gone 7 innings. 1 at home versus the Giants and 1 at the Reds. Looked great in both of those. Delivering back-to-back against the Giants is impressive. Allowing 3 earned runs over 13 innings. It's hard to do that. At home against the Brewers, we know the Brewers were hitting really hard in June. This was the first start of July, and he allowed 1 earned run. He allowed 2 earned runs at Houston last start of June. So in July, in 28 2/3, now the K to walk ratio has always been a problem with Feltner, but he's a 2.51 ERA, 28 strikeouts in 28 2/3. He only allowed 3 home runs in those starts. Angels money line for Justin McKelvey. Angels money line for John Franklin. Gifted Cartel on the over. But I moved on to Rockies first 5 and Feltner. Rockies versus righties in July, 276, 818 OPS. Angels just 236, 49. And then the problem, of course, is the Rockies bullpen. 5.07 ERA, 1.4 whip have not looked good, while the Angels bullpen's been very good. 2.88 ERA, 1.12 whip. Let's get into the line history here for this one. The Rockies are sitting at plus 106. They opened up at plus 115. 9 cents of movement towards the Rockies on the full game. On the first 5, which is what I'm on, I don't have Pinnacle moves, but I have Bet Online moves. Bet Online opened up them at plus 110. They were minus 105 just before the show started. Now they're plus 100. But that's a 10-cent move there to the Rockies. A bookmaker has them at minus 103 in the spot. So minus 103, while the Angels are minus 117. And to take things further, a bookmaker opened this at 7:51 a.m. with the Angels first 5 at minus 147. Now, when they first opened it, there are limits. This moved 22 cents within 30 minutes. This has moved 30 cents away from the Angels, from minus 147 to minus 117. Over at Bet Online, they opened up the Angels at minus 130 first 5. That got down to minus 115. Now, there has been 5 cents of pullback, a buyback here. So, how does Feltner pitch against bottom teams is the question. If that, I mean, I don't know why that would be the issue here. In his last 6 starts, he's faced Houston, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, the Mets, and the Giants twice. Their team has lost all those games, but you know how many runs of support they gave Feltner in July when he's had a 2.51 ERA? They've scored 9 runs in those 5 starts. So, look, this to me, it was the best bet on the board in baseball today. Best bet on the board. Cheshire Cat saying he's 1-10, so I'd imagine poorly. And Jermaine Conley saying exactly can't take Feltner because he's 1-10. I really think that's simplifying the cap far too much. And again, simplifying things can work for you, and I hope it does here for you. Carson Fulmer owned 3.77 ERA, 1.20 whip. In his last start, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and 5-4 loss at home versus the A's. And again, at home, he's been quite good. Take it away for us here, Jose. And I think I went over the cash flow. But again, 87% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the Angels with this big move towards the Rockies. And 94% of tickets, 93% cash is on the over. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett, Rockies, Angels.
Yeah, Rockies for me. Same thing again. It's basically all the games here today. And let me refresh my action to see. Maybe action's just fucking up today. I don't know. But again, 87% of the bets, a shitload of money on the Rockies here. This line opened up. I actually closed my odds sheet real quick. Let me reopen it at minus 135. It's down to minus 117. Why is that? It's saying, here you go. Cheaper lines to bet the Angels. Rockies for me, full game. Plus 108 for me.
Plus 108 for Jose on the Rockies. And by the way, that's Monica in the house. Says Guardians are tough at home, 33-15. Even better against left-hand pitching, 24-8. And the line is a pick'em. Rogers is not as bad as you think. Do we have Rogers listed yet?
Yeah, I'd like to also bet the Orioles, but obviously have not had a line yet.
Yeah, I could.
I still have no line yet as well.
Jermaine Conley said Angels not playing a lefty. They turned up better versus righties. Sure. 230, 649 OPS. The Rockies are 276, 818 OPS. So, but Jermaine, we don't need to agree on this. It's part of the fun, and it's if you want to focus on Feltner's 1-10 record and fade him, at least he's got a win. Fulmer doesn't. Fulmer has zilch wins, but Rockies plus 108 there. All right, let's review action here in MLB. I'm going to be adding the under 8.5 in the Braves Marlins game. The question is, what do I do when Rogers is announced? And I'd like just to take the first 5 under.
I will most likely be on the Orioles.
Yeah, and Ben Lively still concerns me. But, the Orioles are hitting better than the Orioles are hitting better than the Phillies have been lately. But I think I'd prefer that first 5 under, but I don't know. We'll see. If Rogers and the Orioles were like a bunch cheaper on the first 5, I guess that would appeal to me here. So the only action I have is a Rockies first 5. And I got that at even money. Rockies first 5 at even money. Truly believing that I have an advantage with Feltner. For Daby Cab, he's got Royals first 5 -0.5 -107. Jose's on the Tigers at plus 138. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day dog is these Detroit Tigers. Then Jose's on the Marlins at plus 174. He's on the Cardinals at even money. My dude's play of the day is Ian Happ over 1.5 bases. And the same with Soler for Justin McKelvey in the Stacks play of the day. Jose's on the Rockies at plus 108. That's our MLB breakdowns. I got the under 50 just in the nick of time in Lions Bombers. It had moved to 49.5 at 365. It is now at 49 at 365. The under 50 at Pinnacle moved after I bet it to minus 124 on the under 50. It's now minus 123 on the under 50. You can get the 49.5 at minus 116 and the 49 at minus 110. And then I'm on the Houston Texans tonight in the Hall of Fame game at minus 125. It's now minus 135. So it's climbing. Now, again, if I had been a little sharper on it, I could have got a little earlier in this one. DC Capper, Kansas City Royals are his play of the day. Kansas City Royals are his play of the day. Jose Bouquett, any last words on your MLB card?
No, I just riding the dogs today. I think it's going to be a successful day. The line movements all were very interesting today. And, the pitchers, I think, are capable enough here. And it's funny that my least favorite bet of all the underdogs is the most, I guess, even matchup allegedly with Cardinals Cubs. But I'm going to ride them all today, and it's going to be a fun day.
There was also a move towards the Bombers. Bombers are now plus 4. Those were 5.5s. I find the Bombers appealing, but that rest situation might be easy to stay off, but I find that very, very appealing. Leroy Flood saying Orioles are minus 106 and Cleveland minus 110 on FanDuel. It is time to race. These shows are going to get much, much longer very, very soon. But we don't have a ton of games today. We have a big, big card tomorrow, and I'm excited to attack it. But it is now time to race, Jose.
Yes, I'm getting our racers, I guess, organized here. I've never used the racing swimming thing, so it's taking a little bit to load here.
No problem.
1 second.
No problem. Again, I told Dabby about that Ole Miss over 9.5 wins, and on Ole Miss, which we're excited about. And then in CFL, I've not moved on anything else. But I tell you what, I want Fajardo to be announced in, and I want to back the Tiger Cats. So and this has been brewing and timing all week. Also, the Elks at plus 5.5. I have real concerns with Jarius Jackson and Al taking over the defense for the Elks. And maybe the over is just a spot there. Remember, I told you guys last week that there'd be 7 straight unders. Now, there'd already been 4. I told you there'd be 7 straight unders and it would stop with the over in the Edmonton-Hamilton game. And then that Stampeders, I got on the money line minus 125. It's now minus 200. I got the first half minus a half. It's now minus 2, which isn't that big of a difference. And I got the team total for the Argos under 24.5. So there we go. Fernando Mendoza, North American Leagues Cup, 8 p.m. Cincinnati versus Carretero. Cincinnati minus 1.5 at plus 130. And Skunk Blaster says Bombers were plus 190 an hour ago, now sitting at plus 160. Yeah, that's wild. I still prefer not to bet them, but that's wild. Shout out to our guy, Truth Teller, now a PSR Gold member. He's just in time.
Wow.
Just in time for the Rays, looking to pick up $50 here. $50.
See, this is why we have to get all of our racers aligned. You know, who knows who's going to join PSR Gold right at the last second. And shout out to all of you PSR Gold members.
Are we racing them all together at once, or do we do heats?
Oh, yeah. No, we got big pools. Big pools.
Okay. All right.
Big pools. Yeah, I'm interested to see how all these racers make their lanes here. In this pool here, we just let them ride free. Rubbing is racing here at Pub Sports Radio. But shout out to you guys. Give me one more minute here. I'm making sure we've got everyone in.
Can we do a minute and 30-second race?
Of course.
Minute and 30-second race. We are in the waters. Nate Dogg 420 in the house. Great to see you. Joey Marinaccio moving on women's basketball over 165 at this point. And Robert Franklin saying Angels ripping righties lately. I'd have to see that because I don't have that in July, certainly, but maybe in the last 2 weeks is what you are seeing.
I can tell you right now, actually. Give me 1 second. I'll
Angels
pause
230, 649 OPS versus righties in July. Tell us what they are here, Mr. Bouquet.
Yes, I will tell you right now. Against righties. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Of course, classic. Give me 1 second. I clicked on the wrong fucking thing, of course. All right, against righties since July 19th to today, the Angels are 21st, 90 weighted runs created plus, 236 average. If you're an OBP guy, 326 OBP, a 644 team OPS. So not that great.
Yeah.
I don't believe in him.
And today, TJ is on the Marlins +1.
Good.
Max Meyer for TJ.
Well, if TJ had some courage, he'd join me on the money line. I'm sure he actually is on the money line and just isn't telling us. It's just making that that +1 very official there. But come on.
DC, you might have been able to get that 33.5. It would have been a beautiful work here. Let me just quickly move over there. Jose's going to have our race up here shortly. $50 awarded thanks to our Jeff Slaughter. The total in this one, you can use Bet Online. Wow, look at that. Look at that. You were right. This actually went from 33 to 34 at Bet Online. Huh? Now, that wasn't on Monday. Let me give it to you here on Monday. On Monday, it was a 32 at Bet Online. And on Monday at Pinnacle. Wow, this is going down fast too. On Monday, it was 32 across the board. All right, we are about to roll here. Paul Taylor, the sailor in the house. We are just about to close up shop and race. We don't have the other screen up, Jose. We got to get that up here.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 moment. Sorry.
Cheshire says betting the Texans but wearing a Bears hat. Yes. I'm excited about the Bears season. Actually, I'm really excited about both these football teams. And I'm excited about Bankroll Blitz that will be popping off here with Troy Torrance shortly.
Yep, that's going to be fun. Shout out to Troy Torrance. We have a lot of things in the work here. Obviously, we have the poker tournaments as well coming up soon on Bet Online. So if you don't have your account ready to go, ready to fire up. It's going to be $25 entry, I believe you said, correct?
Yes, for the first one, for sure, $25 entry. We've cut it down to 25. We are giving out the winner will get the bonus that they will be entered into our pick'em contest. So we go.
Are you ready? Are you ready for another Cappers contest season? Are you ready for that?
I am. Chill Will says, "Is that a Spurs shirt?" No, it's a Pub Sports Radio shirt, baby.
Yeah, Pubapalooza shirt, which you can buy still.
Radio shirt here.
You should. You guys can go purchase those on the Pub Sports Radio website right now. It's a great time. Again, as I say at the end of every show, try to support Pub Sports Radio in any way you can, whether that's a membership, a shirt, doing whatever you can to try to support the pub. You know, we need all the support we can in the lean months of the seasons here. Everyone apparently stops betting when there's no football and disrespects my baseball. But come on in and support the pub in any way you can. So shout out to you guys. And officially, Jimmy, I have all the names down, and we are going to start racing here in a second.
Let's do it. Here we go.
It's going to be exciting. We have 73, I believe, names all ready to line up here and get after it. It's going to be very fun to watch them all in one pool. Again, Olympic-sized pools are a beautiful thing. They can fit a variety of people here. And we're going for 1 minute and 30 seconds here. And it's going to be very exciting to watch. Again, I have no fucking idea how we're going to get everyone in here. But shout out to everyone that is in our races. As always, good God, we have a lot of people in this pool. Let us go into the pool now. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Hell of a lot of people.
You rock first 45 seconds. I'll close it up.
All right. The Olympics are here. Imagine you're in old gay Paris. You smell the baguettes in the air, and suddenly a stinky French man walks in front of you and says, "We're racing here." And France. Oh, my goodness. What a time. Daby Cab is out in front. Gerald Jones, William Bardo, Truth Teller in the mix here. Director 97 dominates on the horse track. Can he continue it there? Oh, Jimmy the Bag making his presence felt with a green mohawk. He looks great. Top set falling back now. Nuke Worker in the mix here. Rez Mob, old Jose Bouquett even making an appearance here. A lot of names in here. A lot of battling and jockey for position here. We have about 50 seconds left. Who is coming out on top here? Daby Cab recharging out to the front here. My God, the movement is crazy, Jimmy.
Truth Teller also making a big move up to the front. Nunya, Zoe Faye, Kelly McInnes trying to get his first victory. Oh, as soon as I say his name, he drops backwards. Preston Ekdahl making a move. Kenny Ken, Rob Free trying to get to the finish line. Juan Chavez right there. There's Fanatical Jim making a power move. And here comes Jimmy the Bell, and then falling backwards. Billy Friedrich right there. But Zoe Faye staying up with Browns Hughes as well. We are coming to the end of our, what did we call this? Freestyle race? It's not a backstroke. Ken Tate is right there. 8 seconds left. Who's going to get to the finish line? Scumblaster trying to get there. Scumblaster putting on Chill Will making a huge late move. And Chill Will he get there? Ricky Levine is our champion. Ricky Levine, $50. Richard Chill Will was right there. Chill Will clapping for Ricky Levine. Look at that. What a good.
Wow.
Look at the sportsmanship from Chill Will. Look at the
sportsmanship. Lifeless in the pool right now. Everyone just.
Daby Cab was right there. That was very, very tight. Very, very tight. Our winner, Ricky Levine, right there. Congratulations, Ricky. Ricky Levine. I'm going to write this down, make sure that he knows. I forgot to mention that the Donut Silks who won last week. And Nasty Nate, the first ever gold member, never to win a race in any sport, says, all right, Nasty Nate. But that's part of history. You're like the beloved Cubs before they won, you know?
I'm rooting for you every time, Nate. It's a shame.
Small card, and we must win. Another thing about the small card is we can start capping for tomorrow immediately, which will help because we know how difficult it is with these full cards. We're also going to have Olympic basketball tomorrow. The rest of the CFL card going to be extremely enjoyable. Shout out to Ricky Levine, now $50 richer, and we will be racing again tomorrow. I think we should stay with the raid. Let's go into let's do heats tomorrow. Let's do heats.
Oh, sure. And then next week we can do track, because track and field I think starts next week.
Perfect. That's beautifully done. Shout out to all you guys in there. Shout out to our guest Dabra Cadabra, a DC Capper, Philly Eagle Flyer, Cheshire Cat, Cheshire. Thank you so much for all the donos, my man. It's very, very cool. Blessing our action. I hope you get yours. Justin McKelvey, Paul Taylor, the Sailor, our nasty Nate, Markel says rigged scum plaster. Thank you guys. Zoe Faye, you were right there. Storage Club, Gerald Jones, Kelly McKinnon says, when's the poker tournament being played? We're going to announce everything hopefully at the end of this week. Truth Teller, Ron Crawford, all of you guys, Johnny K, TJ, thank you guys. Small card, let's get that cash. Nate Dog 420, Leroy Flood, Jermaine Connolly, thank you guys. And if you can, please help out our man Tori Coker, who's fighting the good fight. Thank you, Truth Teller. Jose, excellent work, my man. A shorter day, which gives us more time to cap tomorrow's card, which we should begin that work immediately. Jose Bouquett, any last words here for the cappers supporting the show? And please bless our action and send us into the future.
Yep. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to Nasty Nate, the first gold member in the chat here. We appreciate you, Nasty Nate, and all the other gold members in here. Again, support Pub Sports Radio in any possible way you can. These are the months where it is tough to be a content creator for sports because there's so little sports going on. But football season is coming. Baseball season is here. Stick around for us. We're going to be winning cappers here, the both of us, very soon here. So I cannot wait. Let's go get some fucking money. And it starts today. Leche a los bookmakers. Let's go.